Hi, I'm Tim McGrath. In today's video, we're going to talk about the landlord's biggest expense. Often, when we're interviewed to represent a landlord in his property management services, they share with us their greatest concerns. Most often we hear that it is the concern of getting a good tenant that'll pay their rent and respect their property, or sometimes it's that we're going to have contractors that are going to overcharge them for repairs. Both of those circumstances are legitimate concerns, but they're manageable, very manageable. And what I'd like you to be aware of today is that neither probably represents your biggest risk. Your biggest risk and your biggest expense related to your property is vacancy. If vacancy is your biggest expense, then how do you manage it most effectively? The first way is how you set the pricing for your property. Often we meet with landlords who look at what another property may have rented for and compare theirs to it. In other words, this property rented for $2,000 a month, but mine has an extra fireplace or an extra half bath or some other component of the property that does not necessarily translate into rental value. And it may translate into appraised value on the property that you're selling, but it doesn't necessarily translate into rental value. I would recommend you think of it like this. At different times of year, there are a different amount of people in the rental pool looking for properties. But throughout the year, there's usually at least one good candidate looking for a property that is like yours. I would recommend you look at it in a competitive nature. You are in business, and your business is a competitive business that competes with other business. You're competing with other landlords in their properties. Look at, in your area, what's available today, and look at what those properties are like and the prices of those properties. And if you were the tenant, which one would you choose? Make your property the best competitive value. And that way you'll minimize your vacancy, you'll minimize your days on market, and you'll limit your biggest potential expense. When your property is vacant, you're paying more operating expenses. Your expenses are higher because you're paying the utilities. When the property's rented, the tenant's usually paying them. So not only is the cost of vacancy in the form of not receiving revenue expensive, but your operating expenses are also higher during vacancy periods. Today, tenants have the opportunity, or prospective tenants have the opportunity, to be much more educated through the internet and through search sites. They know what's on the market, and they can see how long things have been on the market. And often there's a perception when a property's been on the market for a significant period of time that there's something wrong with that property, or there's a reason other people don't like it, which tells them there's a reason they shouldn't. So it does not get their full attention, does not generate in advance the interest in that property that a property that has just been on the market a short period of time can get. Your goal is to avoid vacancy and to maximize the amount of revenue you're going to receive over the holding period of your property being in a rental. The shorter that holding period is, the more sensitive you are to any vacancy at all. So all these reasons together are why vacancy is such a big expense for an owner, a landlord, and why it should be targeted in your management plan to be avoided. We hope that this information is invaluable to you, and we wish you success with all your real estate endeavors.